Well, Trevor Lawrence has managed to break the bank of the quarterback room across the league. $55 million per year, and we have our reaction here as the borders across the pond. Now, Peter, is this good value? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's a massive overpay.
Hell no.
Okay, I think it's an overpay. Do you guys think it's an overpay? Peter, you said no, so what do you think? Okay, explain.
No, I meant hell no, as in to the value, not there. It is an overpay, but I meant hell no, as in like it's not good value, because I saw a graphic today, and I think I saved it on my Twitter, and let me refer to, just give it 2 seconds. So basically, it's the graphic that says that Trevor Lawrence is essentially Mac Jones and Daniel Jones. They're the same level of player so far in his NFL career. And I looked at the graphic and I was like, it's true, because it compared their touchdown totals over the first 3 years, like across all three of them. And it's very similar if you look at like their season that they've played up to this point. They've so far mounted right about the same amount of yards, the same touchdown to interception ratio, and the same type of performances and win losses ratios around the same. And out of all of them, guess who got the least amount of money? And that's Mac Jones. He signed a 4-year, $15 million deal with Jacksonville to be a backup quarterback. And his numbers are comparable with Trevor Lawrence and Danny Dimes in their first 3-4 years in the league.
If you look at, so Trevor Lawrence is $55 million a year on average, $200 million guaranteed. He's being paid as much as Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. He's been paid $2 million more a year as Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl in the past. As far as I'm concerned, Trevor's level of performance has not merited being like he was the next guy, but what does this mean for the rest of the league? Because there are other guys who are still yet to be paid, and they're going to want what, $60 million? That's the rumor about Dak. He wants 60.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to help him springboard a little bit, but I still think it might end up being just under. He might say, you know what, I'll take less overall, but just give me more guarantees. We'll see how it plays out. But hey, you know what? I think this is the absurdity of the QB position, in that it's going to continue to go up regardless. You can be a mid-tier QB, you're still going to get paid around max. But I think this is a secure and see. You can't really build around that.
Will, just go back. Your mic cut out completely.
Oh, okay. So shall I start from the beginning?
Yeah, start from the beginning, and I'll just redo it.
Just count me down.
Just go.
Let's go, yeah. Okay, so realistically, like, this sort of just leans to the absurdity of the QB position, and that it's going to continue to go up whether we like it or not. It's just how important the position is to each team. Now, I can see this as a play from Jacksonville to secure that position and build around it, but in reality, it's very hard to build, especially when you don't have an amazing GM. So it's going to be an uphill struggle.
Trent Baalke theory again.
I hate Trent Baalke, man. I am not a fan whatsoever. I watched this guy miss on draft players. They've got a competent coach. They've got a competent coach, but you need to make sure your GM is like elite if you're willing to work through this. I understand this decision, because let me throw out a few names. Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders. They're the only, coming out of the draft next year, the only one that's even close to Trevor is Shedeur. And that's the truth. Help is not coming.
Yeah.
in the draft for the next few years, help is not coming. There's no one coming out in the next 2 years, with the exception of Shadur, that's going to be on the same level. So you can't really afford to be like, you know what, let's go back into the draft, because they're not as good. So if you put those guys in this situation, they're not going to play well. QBs are like, they are rare. And if you don't have one, you're not going to compete. He hasn't earned the contract.
Now, what I would say is Trevor's level of performance is he's going to have to show that he's worth his price tag.
See, well, he's already been paid. So
hold on. What he's going to have to show, but you got to listen, yeah. Like right now, this is going to be a harsh take, right? Trevor Lawrence is the first quarterback, or one of those quarterbacks, or probably in this modern era, I would say, that has been paid this huge amount and totally not deserve it. I can't point to one single season he's had that's deserving of this extension. He's played 3 years in the league so far. 2022 season, he had 25 touchdowns, 8 INTs. That does not warrant a $55 million per year contract. I'm sorry. That was a 9-8 record, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that does not warrant that. All the quarterbacks that had been extended, all the quarterbacks that was drafted number 1 overall pick up to this point that have been extended and have like got their money, have been deserving of their money, because they have shown, like, when I go back, right, if for instance my own quarterback Kyler Murray, he's had his issues, right, but he has shown the flashes. He has shown he can play at extremely high level before. He has been in MVP discussions. Trevor Lawrence has never been in that before. So that's my issue here.
So the only thing, because I've seen a few Jags games in person, right? And there did seem to have been just the play calling didn't quite to have seemed right, and he lost his star running back 1 year. Everything just seemed to not have aligned, but then also having to deal with the whole head coach situation in year 1 didn't help either, did it?
Yeah, but it changed a lot the next 2 years, right?
Correct. So it's gone in the right direction, but the thing is,
I think NFL head coach.
So what I would say is, with a competent head coach, which they've got, Will's theory of them wanting stability, and the thing is, unfortunately, stability at the quarterback position means you're going to have to pay a guy. And because Trevor had the cachet, still from college, right? Still had that cachet of, yeah, he's going to come good to the level that he's not in the kind of in the echelons of Danny Dimes of what they thought, because there hasn't been the erraticism, like the erratic nature. It's just not been high production.
Yeah, I think
there's no erraticism in his play. It's just
we've seen flashes of him,
not flashes, not high flashes.
We have not even seen a high flash. Like,
no, I'm saying we've seen moments where we're like, okay, cool, I can see that. But I think in terms of the production and the expectation, that's not been there. And I think the Jaguars are kind of really giving him the benefit of the doubt. They're going to have to build a really good team around him. And like, that's what it's going to be. I'm not too concerned in his like ability. He just hasn't proven it. And also, do you guys kind of think here that the Jaguars were kind of like negotiating against themselves here? Because this is his 3rd year in the league. They could have ran it back one more year. They didn't need to do it now.
They could have done it next season.
They could have done it next year. But do you think they were like, well, the TV revenue's going up, all the money's going up,
do you know
let's
what it
try
is?
and pay him what we can now, and this deal might look good 2-3 years down the line.
Nah, but
you think it was an early
no,
pay?
they don't have 2-3. The next year would have been year 4.
Yeah.
So next year would have been year 4, and they would have had to exercise the option, right?
Yeah,
they're trying to save an extra $5 million basically, because let's say, if for all we are saying, let's say this 2024 season he goes out and he really shows it, he throws 30+ touchdowns, less than 10 INTs,
65 mil, 70.
You know, have a great year.
They're getting ahead of the game.
Then you're looking at exactly. So I think in their defense, they're trying to be like, okay, let's pay him now what the going rate is, so that we know Dak is coming up. By the end of this current season, Dak is gonna want 60. We don't want to have to pay Trevor 60. Let's give him 55. Let's give him 200 in guarantees, and then let's just move on from there. And then whatever comes with it. He doesn't deserve it at this moment in time, but hey, even Tua deserves his money more than Lawrence deserves his
in
money at
terms
this
of what
moment
he's
in
shown.
time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is just one of those things. No doubt Dak should definitely give him a call and say thanks, buddy.
Dak and Tua, next quarterbacks to be paid, and Dak's going to hold a king's ransom.
Yep, no discounts, 100%. He's going for the jugular.
Tua's going to hold a king's ransom.
Yep.
And neither of them have been able to win when they need to.
Yeah, I think, like I said, this is a consequence of the market.
Peculiar.
And help is not coming. Unless you can maybe get a Shadur Sanders, like, help. And we all know he's going to Dallas, right, Pete?
Of course, going to Dallas. But that's what I'm saying. Jacksonville could have waited, and they could have got Dak, at 60 million.
Yeah, so help isn't coming. So if they're hoping out in the draft, that's not going to happen. Free agency, all the QB prospects now that can carry a franchise and move it forward are already on their teams. There's some guys that are like backups right now. You have a Mac Jones, you have Justin Fields, who I think is probably going to become the starter. Russell Wilson may become available as well next year or partway through this year. We shall see. But ultimately, they kind of don't really have any wiggle room here. So they've committed to their guy, the franchise. They did draft him, and they're going to carry on. So I understand it is a lot of money, but it's kind of the going rate. One thing we do agree on, I think, is they paid him too early, but I think this is also to try and keep costs.
I can understand now thinking about it rather than just looking at the number. I can, because if he has a good season, the thing is it can work both ways, right? If he has a bad season, then they're stuck.
Yeah,
because they're going to have to try and like they said, Dak's going to try free agency. It's all right. So if they went after Dak, they were going to have to pay him even more.
Yeah. Even with a bad season, I mean, how much lower is it going to be? You know what I mean? It's probably going to be what, 50 million or something like that. So it's kind of like, hey, listen, let's just get ahead of it. He's been
on his rookie contract. He needs to get his money, kind of thing. Yep. So, and his level of production has not deserved not getting a contract, right?
Yeah.
No, his level of production has deserved getting some sort of contract, but not the top market. Not top of the market, not the same as Joe Burrow, who's done certainly way more than Trevor Lawrence has ever done in his NFL career today. And that
if you look at the
with injuries or whatnot.
So if you look at the top QBs in terms of average, so you got Burrow, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Kyler, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Then we'd have Dak and Danny Dimes and Matthew Stafford at 12. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dak obviously is wanting to get his next contract, so you would expect he would go towards the top of that list. It's very intriguing to see what those two franchises do. Those two franchises, we've got an episode which will have been released right now about should Dak stay with the Cowboys or not. But the link to that will be in the bio. But as far as Tua is concerned, like you said, Tua deserves his money a bit more than what Trevor did, but Tua hasn't been able to beat a good team.
Yeah.
Has Trevor?
I'm saying neither of them have been able to beat good teams, and this is the intriguing thing about it's the madness behind the QB market, and
the madness by the QB market. The only position where this can happen. So you can be middle of the road. If you're the next guy up, you're gonna probably top the charts.
No other position
as well, but
no other position in the league can you be middling and get top money. That is that is certainly the case. Well, there we have it. And if you liked this video, please drop a comment down below about what you think. Please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button, and over and out.